never thought learning Portuguese would save me from the biggest mistake of my retirement. I was 63 when I started taking classes at the community center. My husband Tom had passed 2 years earlier, and our daughters kept telling me I needed a hobby, something to fill the long afternoons in our empty house in Sacramento. I'd always loved languages, studied French in high school, dabbled in Italian during our anniversary trip to Rome, but Portuguese felt different. Maybe it was the melodic sound of it, or maybe I just needed something completely new. The teacher, Mrs. Silva, was a sweet woman from Lisbon who ran the beginners class every Tuesday and Thursday morning. There were 6 of us, mostly retirees like me, looking for something to do with our time. I wasn't particularly good at it at first. The nasal vowels felt strange in my mouth, and I constantly mixed up estar and ser. But I kept at it. Week after week, month after month. My daughters thought it was cute. Mom's learning Portuguese. They'd tell their friends, like I'd taken up watercolors or joined a book club. My son-in-law Kevin would sometimes ask me to say something, then laugh at my pronunciation. Not mean-spirited, just amused. Like watching a child play dress-up. They didn't take it seriously. Why would they? I was just mom, just grandma, the woman who babysat on weekends and brought casseroles to family dinners. What was I going to do with Portuguese anyway? After Tom died, I'd signed over power of attorney to my oldest daughter, Jennifer. She was a financial advisor, sharp with numbers, always telling me not to worry about the complicated stuff. "You focus on enjoying your retirement, Mom," she'd say. "I'll handle the paperwork." It made sense at the time. I'd never been good with finances. Tom had always managed our accounts, our investments, our bills. When he was gone, it felt overwhelming. Jennifer took over everything: the mortgage, the utilities, my IRA distributions, Tom's life insurance payout, all of it. She'd come by once a month with papers for me to sign, explaining things quickly while I nodded along, trusting her completely. She was my daughter. Why wouldn't I trust her? By my second year of Portuguese classes, I could hold basic conversations. Mrs. Silva started bringing in Portuguese films for us to watch, and I found myself understanding more than I expected. The rhythm of the language was starting to feel natural. I practiced with the waitress at the Brazilian restaurant downtown. I watched Portuguese cooking shows online. My daughter still thought it was just a cute hobby. Then Jennifer started talking about the house. "Mom, this place is too big for you," she said one Sunday after dinner. She and her husband Kevin had come over with the grandkids. 4 bedrooms, that big yard you don't use anymore. And the maintenance costs are eating up your income. I loved that house. Tom and I had bought it 40 years ago, raised 3 girls there. Every room held memories. "I'm managing fine," I said. "But you could be doing better than fine," Jennifer pressed. "Kevin has this opportunity, a real estate investment in Brazil. His company is expanding there, and he knows some developers in Sao Paulo. The returns are incredible, Mom. 12% annually, guaranteed." Kevin nodded enthusiastically. He was a real estate broker, always talking about deals and opportunities. "It's a booming market," he said. "And with your house paid off, you're sitting on equity that's just sitting there, not working for you." "I don't know anything about Brazilian real estate," I said slowly. "That's why you have us," Jennifer smiled. "I'd handle everything through the POA. We'd sell the house, invest the proceeds, and you could move into that nice senior community near us. Smaller place, no maintenance, built-in social activities. And your investment income would actually be higher than what you're living on now." Something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Jennifer had never steered me wrong before. "I need to think about it," I said. Over the next few weeks, they kept bringing it up. Casual mentions at first, then more insistent. Kevin started leaving brochures about the senior community on my kitchen table. Jennifer showed me spreadsheets comparing my current expenses to the projected investment returns. "The opportunity won't last forever, Mom," she said. "Kevin's contacts in Sao Paulo are only holding the investment slot for another month." I felt pressured, confused. This was my home, but everyone seemed to think I was being foolish for wanting to stay. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was just being sentimental. That's when Mrs. Silva mentioned the guest speaker. "Next week, we're having a special visitor," she announced in class. "Carlos Mendez, a business consultant from Sao Paulo. He works with American companies expanding to Brazil, and he's offered to speak to our class about Brazilian culture and business practices. Please, everyone come. It will be wonderful practice for your Portuguese. I almost didn't go. The topic didn't interest me much, and I had a doctor's appointment that morning. But something made me reschedule. Carlos Mendez was a distinguished man in his 50s, impeccably dressed, with kind eyes and an easy smile. He spoke to us in Portuguese slowly and clearly for our benefit about Brazilian customs, holiday traditions, business etiquette. About halfway through, he opened it up for questions. That's when I asked, almost as an afterthought, "My son-in-law keeps talking about real estate investments in São Paulo. Is that market really as good as he says?" Carlos's expression changed slightly. Still professional, but more careful. "São Paulo real estate can be good," he said in Portuguese, "but like any investment, you must be very careful. Many Americans are targeted by schemes. What kind of investment is he proposing?" I explained, haltingly, what Kevin had described. As I spoke, I saw Carlos's face darken. 12% guaranteed returns, he said. That is very unusual. The Brazilian market is not that stable. May I ask, who is the developer? I didn't know. I realized I didn't know any of the details, just what Jennifer and Kevin had told me. After class, Carlos asked if he could speak with me privately. "Mrs. Peterson," he said, switching to English, "I don't want to alarm you, but what you described sounds very much like several schemes I've seen. American investors are promised high returns on Brazilian developments that either don't exist or are vastly overvalued. By the time they realize it, their money is gone." My stomach dropped. "But my daughter's handling it," I said. "She's a financial advisor. Is she licensed to sell international real estate investments?" I didn't know. Carlos gave me his card. "Please, have her contact me. I can verify the developer, check if the project is legitimate. If it's real, wonderful. If not," he paused. "Better to know now." I drove home in a daze. That evening, I called Jennifer. "I talked to someone who knows the Brazilian market," I said. "He has some questions about the investment." There was a long pause. "Mom, I don't think we need some random stranger questioning our family decisions. He's a business consultant. He works with American companies in Brazil. He just wants to verify." "Verify what? That we're trying to help you?" "Mom, this is insulting. Kevin has been working on this deal for months. His reputation is on the line." "Then it should be easy to verify," I said quietly. Another pause. When Jennifer spoke again, her voice was tight. "Fine. Give me his information, but I think you're being paranoid." She never called Carlos. Instead, a week later, Kevin showed up at my house with a new proposal. "We found an even better opportunity," he said, spreading papers across my kitchen table. "Ground floor investment in a luxury condo development. The paperwork is all ready. Jennifer has the POA, so she can sign on your behalf. We just wanted to show you first, as a courtesy." I looked at the documents. They were in Portuguese. Complex legal Portuguese, full of terms I didn't know. Kevin was watching me, smiling, confident I couldn't read them. But I could read enough. I saw taxa de administração buried in paragraph 7. Administrative fees, 20% of the initial investment. I saw sem garantia de retorno, no guaranteed returns. I saw a clause that said the developer could dissolve the project at any time and keep all invested funds for development costs already incurred. "This says there's no guaranteed return," I said slowly, in English. Kevin blinked. "What?" "Right here," I pointed. "It says there's no guarantee." "Well, that's just legal language," Kevin said quickly. "The projected returns are still." "And this administrative fee," I continued, my voice steady, 20%. That's $140,000 off my house sale, just in fees." His smile faltered. "Mom, you can't possibly understand these documents. They're in Portuguese, and the legal terminology—" "I've been taking Portuguese classes for 3 years," I said. "And I had a business consultant from São Paulo review the type of investment you're proposing. He said it's likely a scheme." Kevin's face went red. "That's ridiculous." "Who?" "It doesn't matter who," I said. "What matters is that you brought me documents you knew I couldn't read, expecting me to trust you blindly." And when I asked questions, Jennifer got defensive instead of helping me understand. Now wait just a minute. I want copies of these documents. I'm going to have them properly reviewed. And I'm revoking Jennifer's power of attorney until I understand exactly what's been happening with my finances. Kevin stood up, his chair scraping harshly against my kitchen floor. You're making a huge mistake. This opportunity. If it's a real opportunity, it will still be there after due diligence, I said. If it's not, then I'm saving myself from losing everything Tom and I built. He left angry. 30 minutes later, Jennifer called. Mom, what is going on? Kevin said you're revoking my POA? I need to review my accounts, I said. All of them. I want to see every transaction you've made on my behalf. This is crazy. I've been managing your money for 3 years, and now suddenly you don't trust me? Jennifer, honey, I love you. But that's exactly why I need to check, because I've been trusting blindly instead of paying attention. She hung up on me. I called my lawyer the next morning. The POA revocation was simple, one form, notarized, but reviewing my accounts was more complicated. It took 2 weeks and a forensic accountant, but we found it. Jennifer had been moving money. Not stealing, exactly that's what she claimed later. Borrowing, she called it. Short-term loans from my accounts to cover Kevin's failed real estate deals, always planning to pay it back before I noticed. $73,000, moved in small increments over 18 months. She'd been falsifying the monthly statements she showed me, keeping me in the dark. The Brazilian investment scheme was supposed to be her way out. Kevin had convinced her it was real, that they'd make enough to pay me back with interest, and I'd never know the money had been gone. They'd even planned to take a cut for themselves, a finder's fee for connecting me with such a lucrative opportunity. But the development didn't exist. Carlos confirmed it. The developer was a known scam artist who'd already been prosecuted in Brazil for defrauding American investors. If I'd signed those papers, if Jennifer had used the POA to sell my house and transfer the money, I would have lost everything. The house, the investment, my financial security, all of it, gone. Jennifer and Kevin would have claimed they were victims too, that they'd been fooled by the developer. I would have been left with nothing, probably having to move in with one of my other daughters, completely dependent on family charity for the rest of my life. All because I was supposed to be just mom, just grandma, too old to understand complicated things, too trusting to question my own daughter. We didn't press charges. The money Jennifer took was repaid over time from the sale of Kevin's car, their savings, a second mortgage on their house. It took them 3 years and ruined their credit, but they repaid every cent. Our relationship never fully recovered. She and Kevin eventually moved to Arizona for a fresh start. I see them at holidays sometimes, but it's strained. The grandkids don't understand why Grandma and their mom barely speak. My other daughters rallied around me. Sarah helped me set up proper financial oversight, a professional fiduciary, regular reviews, clear documentation. Margaret helped me understand my investments so I could make informed decisions. And I kept taking Portuguese. Mrs. Silva cried when I told her how the language had helped me. Carlos became a friend we meet for coffee sometimes when he's in town, and we speak only in Portuguese. He tells me I saved myself, that the language was just a tool, but I think it was more than that. Learning Portuguese reminded me that I could still learn, that my brain still worked, that I wasn't just the sweet, elderly mother who needed her children to manage her life. It gave me confidence to ask questions, to dig deeper, to trust my instincts when something felt wrong. I'm 66 now. I sold the house on my own terms, to a nice young family with 3 kids. I invested the proceeds conservatively, with proper oversight. I moved to a smaller condo downtown, near the community center where I still take Portuguese classes. Advanced now. Last year, I took a trip to Portugal. 3 weeks, traveling solo. My daughters worried, Mom, are you sure you can handle it alone? But I managed just fine. Better than fine. I navigated train stations, ordered in restaurants, made friends with locals. I felt alive in a way I hadn't since Tom died. On my last night in Lisbon, I sat at a cafe watching the sunset over the Tagus River. The waiter brought me my coffee, and we chatted in Portuguese about his family, his dreams, the best places to visit in Portugal. When he walked away, I realized I was crying, happy tears, because I'd almost lost this. Almost lost my independence, my security, my ability to choose my own adventure, all because people who claimed to love me assumed I was too old, too trusting, too simple to protect myself. Learning Portuguese didn't just save my money, it saved my sense of self. If you're reading this, and you're in a situation where someone is pressuring you to make financial decisions you don't fully understand, even if that someone is family, even if they claim to have your best interests at heart, please slow down. Ask questions. Get second opinions. Learn what you need to learn. You're never too old to learn, never too old to protect yourself, never too old to say no. And if people are counting on you not understanding, on you staying quietly in the dark, that's exactly when you need to turn on the lights. I learned Portuguese as a hobby, to fill empty afternoons and challenge my aging brain. But it ended up being the most important education of my life. Because the moment you stop learning, the moment you decide you're too old or too tired or too trusting to pay attention, that's the moment you become vulnerable. And I refuse to be vulnerable ever again.